I had many ideas in my mind when it comes to like to offering this lesson. I was thinking that like the amount of topics that we can approach when we're thinking about drawing, it's absolutely immense. But there's like I thought because I read many messages from people saying I don't just want to learn from imagination, but I want to actually learn the foundations, but the foundations of something that it's useful. Because like we have also like this problem of like, hey, I think the foundation is great, like it's fantastic. Like speak to me all day about like boxes and like color theory and like cool stuff, and I will be like, it's almost the like all of the technical part. But you say like all of that it's cool, but how can I like turn that into something that it's speak with it? Like, and when I say speak is like I want to do like an interesting drawing. I want to do an interesting painting. But it's for some reason it's like there's a wall here in between that is it's just like very difficult for me to get from like, hey, this is theory and now I want to apply it. I want to apply it and it's something entirely different. And I find that I find this problem very interesting because sometimes we say like, you know what, I like to practice like all the technical aspect of things. Like I think it's great. I think it's very interesting. I can do boxes all day. But when it comes to drawing something interesting, we say like, I mean, I like the boxes and they might help me, but it's not what I'm gonna be thinking about when I want to produce something that it's interesting, something that I want to look at, or something that I want like some viewers looking at. So kind of like what I want to talk about today is to say like, hey, how we can take the foundation of like the very, very basic foundation, I think like the first one, the number one foundation, which is perspective. And how can I turn that into something that it's more manageable? I call all of this that I'm gonna be talking about organic perspective. And the reason of why I call it organic perspective is it's because it's more intuitive. So when we say like intuitive, that can mean like a thousand things. Like we can say like, hey, intuitive, it's like that it comes natural. It's like natural to me. Intuitive means like I don't need to put much effort to think about it. And I would say that that would be right to say when we're talking about like something that is intuitive. But I would say that if I could describe it very shortly, I would say that it's more manageable, it's more accessible. Like it can be something complex, but it's something that we say like, you know what, if I put the effort, I know that I can deal with that. So kind of like what we will try to do today, like the idea is to build up like this bridge, which is going to be more like building up a bridge in between concepts. Like, why do we have perspective on one side, and why we have like our drawing practice on the other side? And what does it means to have like something like you know, like this building that we can go across it and say like, hey, you know what, like this can even be like the exact same place. It doesn't need to be like a separate thing, but it can actually be connected. So here on this very nice PDF, guys, like okay, by the way, the idea is that we check on the whole PDF. We do like a short demo. We also talk about like exercises, things that we want to do in order to improve like in memory drawing, in drawing from imagination. I hope that some of you guys, if you want like if you want to draw at the same time on drawing or doing a demo, I think it will be fantastic. So the first part, it's going to be just like this theory. I'm gonna be doing like a couple of demos. Hopefully at that point, I would like to give you like some announcements of things that are coming, upcoming events. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. Like I just want to like let you know like that those things are going to be there. And the other thing is that at the very end, if you want something like that you want to ask me, or before the theory even, you can raise your hand and the admin is gonna let you coming in into like the voice chat or the video chat even if you have any like particular question or thing. And also feel free, my friends, to like if you have any piece that you say like, I would like Mario to like help me maybe like do something about like this problem I'm struggling with on a particular drawing, or if you just want to show me anything, use like use the text channel, or here like in the text of the call, and just send me like the image, and at the very end we can check it out and see like what's going on. So okay, my friends, here I was talking about this idea of the bridge. And here it's basically, here I have like some concepts, some very interesting concepts that I want to share with you. So first, I would say that like whenever we talk about perspective, we like we need to talk about the cube. So the cube is like this love and hate relationship that it's kind of like hey, you know, the cube, it's very nice, but like, you know what? I think I can draw that portrait or that head or that figure without the box. And I think, and 99% of the time, like to other people who are my students, I say like, absolutely, like that's true. Like you can draw that figure and you can make it look right without the box. But the box have a very interesting function within our drawing. And is that even if we're thinking that we're not using boxes, we are using the concept itself that describes what a box is. So, well, here basically, to show you, let's go down a little bit more. So basically, before we talk about like those things that they have in common, I would like to say that there's something about perspective. Like there's a couple of things, a couple of parts or things we need to take into account. One of those parts, it's the eye level. So whenever I would say like this thing, and it's like, if you have a canvas, you never start that drawing out of nothing. You always have a line, and maybe you don't see it, but the thing is that it's there and it's influencing the decision making that you're doing inside of that drawing. So I'm gonna be repeating that word of decision making, because we need to make the distinction that we are like, I hope that most of us were interested on drawing from imagination or direct drawing. And when we're thinking about direct drawing, there's like a very basic distinction I want to make in between what we do when we draw and what we do when we paint. Sometimes these two things are like are intertwined, like are like two parts of like the same thing. So one of these like on one of these sides, like when we're talking about painting, I would relate these two like all of the time because they are very similar. But in painting, when we're painting, it's like we're always adding and subtracting. Like we are putting and we're taking out all the time, putting out, taking out, putting out, taking out. And when we're drawing, what we're doing is basically we can only do one thing, and it's to add information. To add information and to stop adding information. Like those are like the two very basic things you do when you're drawing. Like when we're talking about the just like adding lines, like basic line drawing. So one of those things that it seems weird is to say like, hey, instead of like putting like subtracting and adding, I need to have enough experience to know when to stop. So at some point, having a good drawing, it's knowing when to stop and when to continue. So one of the reasons I want to make that distinction now, it's because since we're talking about like just like live drawing from memory, it's key that we understand like in what terms we're talking about. So we're gonna keep on describing like this imaginary world. As first I say like, hey, here's the eye level, and one of those things that it's always going to happen with the eye level is that it functions in a very simple manner. It's only telling me like, hey, this is as far as you can go. This is as close as you can get to me, or you're on top of it, you're above me, or if you're below, then like I see like all of those top planes, like you're below me. And think about that. We have never talked about like Spider-Man lines. You know, I always say like Spider-Man lines because it's like it's like a vanishing point, and out of that vanishing point, we have all of these crazy lines coming out of it, and it's like out of that thing, then we do like vertical lines, and it's almost like we at the end have like a box out of this immense amount of lines and things going on, and you know that they're like very strict and certain rules we need to keep in mind in order to make that box work, like that perspective work. But I'm never gonna be talking in those terms because I want that perspective for me or for you, if that's the case. I don't want you to think about like the technical aspect of it, but to think more in like, hey, I have this thing here. When it's getting closer to its part, something like this is happening. When it's getting away from it, something new is happening. Like, when I say that, is like, let's talk more about rules. So rules are more manageable. When we say like, you know what, when I get closer to that wall, I will hit the wall or something. You always know, like, when I get closer, I just hit it. And you turn that into something mechanical. So that's the first thing we need to think about. Everything that goes on top, it's above. Everything that goes down here, it's below. And it's a very simple concept. But we're gonna come back to this idea in a moment. So here, I was again like going about this idea I told you at the beginning of like, yeah, I think it's very nice for you to say that cubes and all of that, but like the moment I start to use them, it's just it doesn't make sense to me. So there are three things or three moments I want you to keep in mind when you're thinking about the box. So one of those things is that if we speak about like what it is a box, there are like a couple of things you could keep in mind. Like when we're not talking about like the object, but what it is the object. So one of those things I could say is like, hey, you know, like the box can have like can have edges, can have like can have planes, can have like what I call them here, perspective lines. They have another name, like if you search for them, they have like a different name. But like this thing got planes, this thing got perspective lines. It's easy to rotate, it's easy to move, like such as I described right here. One of those reasons of why we have a box, like I think that would be like the primary question we could ask, like why a box and why not something else? And I want you to have this idea on your mind, like the starting point of a box can be a dot, like can be a corner. But let's imagine that you take all of the corners out of your box and you just have like one corner. Then that corner would be anything, don't you think? Like we cannot create a line, we cannot create a plane. It's just like something there, like in the air, that it's made out of nothing. It's just like they're floating in space. But at the moment I add another corner, there's a correlation, like there's a relationship in between these two things. So the moment I decide to like say like, hey, this dot is going to be related to this dot, and these two are going to be related to the eye level, it's the moment I have a perspective line. In any other situation, that doesn't happen. Like in any other situation, that can be just anything. But at that moment, when I create that relation, I say like, you know what? That's perspective. That's a three-dimensional shape. So what I'm trying to say here is that even if you don't use perspective itself, like even if you don't have, even if you say like, you know what, I did like a cool character and I didn't need any perspective and it looked cool, it looked pretty nice. I would say absolutely, that's totally right. But the thing I want you to keep in mind is that same thing as I'm saying here, you can say, hey, but if the box got corners, we as humans, or anything that we see, tends to symmetry, tends to a strong symmetry. And the thing with symmetry is that we can always split anything that have any type of symmetry in two. Okay? And I said at the beginning, like, hey, the box need at least the relationship in between two corners to exist. Or in this case, we could say, like, you know what? The relationship in between two things. I don't care. Like, it can be like two eyes, two nostrils. It can be two corners of the mouth. It can be two ears. It can be like, you know what? Like one corner of my head and the other corner of my head. Like, it can be anything. And I find that, hey, like at this point, if I say that we stop talking about boxes, like now we're talking about a human figure, and we can still keep on describing it such as if it was a box. Because if I say I have two eyes, I say like, well, but so I can put like a line across my eyes like this, and that's going to become a perspective line. And I can, for example, take like this corner of my head and this corner of my head, and I can cross a line, and you will see that that line is going to function in terms of perspective. Like, it's going to be a three-dimensional object. So the interesting thing is that we are basically made out of perspective. That is what I wanted you to realize. So here, basically, what we're doing is like, hey, like, for example, this zombie character, like it's cool and all of that, and it's like raising up from the graveyard, but it doesn't necessarily, like, all of this doesn't need to be the drawing itself. So this is a problem I see that it's very common, and this problem is to say like, hey, like, this is cool, but the moment I start building up on top of it, it's not working. Like, it's not working. It's not working properly. Like, it's just different. And I say, like, of course, because you're building on top of the boxes itself. Instead, what you need to do is to say, like, you know what? Like, my boxes are cool, but I want my figure, I want my drawing to be influenced by the rules of perspective. You know what I'm saying? So I think the concept becomes a little different, but it's more trying to think in terms of like what I've been telling you, and it's saying like, you know what, like the box can be a very good like primary shape I can use to like to at some point say like, you know what, well, like no one's gonna tell me that my drawing is not structured, because having a not structured drawing, it's always a problem. But at some point, what we want to say is to say like, okay, like the box is cool, like it's helping me doing certain things, but the reality of all of this is that my figure is being influenced. So have you ever seen like, and now we are getting into the space of saying like, of using mnemonic techniques and like techniques for like, yeah, getting a bigger memory and like all of this stuff. But this is the moment we start to say like, hey, like, if I tell you to not think about a motorbike, for example, like if I tell you like, for example, I don't know who's around here, like Jay, Sally, Reza, Darren, Samuel, yes or me, well, any of you guys, if I tell you to not think about a motorbike, I bet a good amount of money. I bet a good amount of money into saying that you guys cannot stop thinking about a motorbike. And like, that's the way our memory works. Like, I have, like, there's nothing we can do about it. The moment I say like, oh, I'm not gonna think about it, not gonna think about it, I think about it. It's like, we cannot do anything about it. So the thing is that that's what we want to do with perspective. Like, you want to say like, hey, I have my box. Don't think of a pink hypo. Exactly that's the whole point. Like, you cannot stop thinking about it. So what you want to do with perspective is to say like, hey, here are the rules of perspective, like here are the things that perspective means. And I want to say, like, you know what? I cannot stop being influenced by these rules. And it's going to, like, all of these things are going to influence my drawing over and over and over and over and over again. It's like I cannot stop it. So there are like a couple of exercises you can do in order to like grow this skill, because it's like a skill itself. And of course, like, it's not something usually many people always say, like, oh, draw the method, like how do we draw like this or that. Like, I would say that, like, there's not like a perfect methodology probably to getting to a certain point in terms of drawing, but we can get very far if we start from the right place. So one of those things, one of those exercises would be to having, like to starting to have perspective always working behind our drawing. So I'm gonna show you, like, in a moment what do I mean by that. So let me give me a second, guys. Check it out. Give me a second, good people. So oh, by the way, if you want the PDF, like this PDF, with some cool explanations, cool stuff, I will say you, I will tell you in a moment, like where you can download it. Okay, but let's take it away for a second. Let's take it away for a very quick second. Let's see. Oh no. I think drawing is going to be a bit difficult because it's getting a lot of, yeah, I think you see, like, how slow it goes. It doesn't matter. We can still draw that. So I'm gonna do something, guys. Do you know the concept isometric perspective? Have you heard about it? Maybe? Yeah, Darren, you do. I think more people may. Yes. No. Yes, Irvine, you have never heard of it? Yes, I've heard. Okay. Oh, Samuel, you haven't heard of it. But you are Samuel. What's going on? You're like next bit or hand. That cannot be. That cannot be happening, man. Okay, so brief explanation. So we usually, when we think about, oh my goodness, this is so incredibly slow. I do a brushstroke and it appears like an hour later. Oh my goodness. Have you ever seen that? This kind of feels like as if I was like an old man trying to draw something, because it's so slow. Like, you cannot get the lines I want. Oh, in a second, with people, I think if I connect myself directly to the internet, maybe we get a better connection. I hope for it. So we have this cute box here. Just a small explanation is that when we have isometric perspective, basically, now these two lines are going to touch each other at some point in space. That's basically what's happening. Like, these lines are going to touch at some point in this line, and like that's why we have like this concept of depth. If that doesn't happen, if we don't have a clear eye level, like if we have no eye level at all, we have isometric. Okay? So these lines are probably never going to touch each other, and that's okay. Have you ever played like for Samuel and Isometric? I think for Isometric, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If you guys have never played The Sims, like the Uh, for example, that game, it's full isometric perspective basically. It's like everything, you look at everything from the top, and what's going to happen rather than like perspective not being wrapped at the end of this line is that something interesting, and is that all of the proportions are going to be very similar to each other, very incredibly similar. Dofus haters are too. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, it's been years since I've heard anything about the Dofus thing. I don't even know how to pronounce that right. Um, oh, okay, no, Samuel knew it. Samuel, perfect. But I think, like, for example, in this case, we can say proportions are very similar all the time, very, very similar. So if I, for example, let my drawing be influenced by this, what can I do? What can I do with now this very stable perspective? You will see me like always using like those two terms, very stable and very unstable. Okay, like I'm gonna always be using like those two terms. So for example, this box, usually isometric, it's at a 45-degree angle, which basically means, oh guys, this is so terribly slow, my goodness. Maybe I will see myself pushed to use the terrible Photoshop again. My God, I hope that's not the case. I just prefer Magma. I don't know why, but like Magma have like this brush I really like. If you want the brush, because like in case you say like Mario, I need a brush, like like it's something that's stopping me if I don't use the exact same brush. I will show you in a second how you can create the brush. Okay? Uh, but don't worry, don't feel bad for asking about it. Like when I was much younger, I was like, the brush, the freaking brush. But like but yeah, time passes, and now the brush is not so, it's not so desirable. Not so desirable, guys. Let me see. So basically, we're sketching. Okay, we're sketching at an absurd speed, like because I feel like you know what? I feel like if I'm drawing and someone was like pushing me, like, oh, don't draw, because it's so slow. But let's say we're drawing like anything. We have like this guy who's like on top of a block, and he's like recording someone like from the top and saying like, okay, I'm gonna like record in isometric perspective at 45-degree angle. So we're here and we're recording with our camera, everything's cool. And we say like, okay, well, the first thing I notice is that all of this, it's as I told you, my friends, it's quite very, very, very similar in terms of proportion. So I can put anyone right here or very back up in here, and it's going to look quite similar. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay. So, and you say like, okay, well, I see that like the proportions in the head are quite similar to each other. The proportions in between like the rib cage and the pelvis, it's also very, very similar. So now that we have this, we can say something for sure. And is that, hey, now I'm dealing with a much simpler way of looking at perspective, because basically the only thing I'm doing is building, I'm building on top, I'm building on top. And if you want something in front of that thing, you go below. And if you want something else, like on front of it, you go below again, and below, and below, below. So you can only go up and go down. go up and go down, and you maintain all of your proportions. So basically your mind can be like fully into thinking like, hey, I have cut out all the problems of like having different lenses, having like different camera angles, which we're gonna check very briefly. But this exercise is very interesting because of that. So now, you know what I'm trying to do, no? So like, basically, what I'm doing is saying like, oh, okay, all of my drawings are being influenced by this cube right here. So there are a couple of things I would like you to think about when you're doing this exercise. One of those things can be to just have this box on one corner of your paper. So let's say what it shows me. No, I think I don't want to move to Photoshop. Let's say you're here, and you always are going to have like this box right here on one corner. And the exercise is going to be basically you keep on looking at the things you're drawing. Like, sorry, you're going to draw, like you're going to sketch, but your eyes are going to be fixed on that box. Okay? So they are always going to be fixed on that box. Like, even like you're gonna feel the need for like for saying like, oh, I want to look at my drawing, I want to look at my drawing. But force yourself to look at the box and to say like, every time you look at it, not just look at it, but think about like, oh, this plane is going on one side. So for example, you're drawing like, let's say this funny character, which is myself. You're like, and like, for example, when you're drawing that and you have that box being influencing you, you say like, okay, well, the head is turning around back. So you think, let me do a box here. So I would like you to do this. So you have this plane right here, and you're drawing that plane. You're trying to not look at it, but what you will do is to like have your eyes fixed on the box that it's on one side, and you're going to like let your eyes go back and forth on that plane, back and forth on that plane. When you turn, when you make the turn, so I mean this, when you go back, you're going back here. You see? So we are doing something organic, but we're not letting any of this get out of our way, like get out of our sight, like in our minds. I'm trying to make that distinction of like, hey, you're drawing this, but your mind is here, but your hand is here, because that's very important when it comes to drawing from imagination. Like you need to be here, but you need to be thinking about something else. Or in order for having a good proportion, you need to like be drawing the head, but have all of your sight on the complete size of that page. Okay? So always keep this exercise in mind. What I would suggest to you is like to start with a simple box, with just one box. Then what you can do is do what many people do, which is doing a simplification on this guy and saying like, okay, now I have this guy being here. Well, and every time your hand is drawing here, oh, give me a second. I put like some clothes on this dude. Every time you're going through any of those planes, for example, you go back, but your hand is here doing this. So you could first go and do like a simplified version of your character, and then have your eyes there. So you're not going to exactly be doing the box guy because you're drawing something organic, but you're letting your drawing be influenced. Okay? You're going to let your drawing be influenced by just looking at it. That's what we want. Even if it's very, very, very simple, like even if it's very minimum, put all of your effort into those small parts. For example, let's say that this plane is going back here, and you say like Mario, but like that head is not having that big of a turn when it's going back. Like I'm not, I don't have that. But I would say no, no, no. But try to at least make the effort of saying like, oh, it would turn a little bit back, and when it turns into the neck, you say like, okay, that's now going to be my neck. So even be very conscious about that. Don't let any of those things outside of your drawing. Always keep even like those small parts in mind. Always have your mind working and working and working. If you don't feel like your mind is working, you're just doing that exercise can be anything. Can be absolutely anything. If you turn down your mind, like that's the moment you're not drawing. Okay? Always when you're drawing, try to be looking for something. Always looking for something. More and more and more and more. You sit down to draw and you don't know what to draw? Draw anything. Draw anatomy, take a photo, draw absolutely anything. But let your mind always say like, my goal is not going to be drawing something, but understanding something. You know what I'm saying? So, may I say to you guys, little treat. Oh, Darren, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Precisely. Uh, yeah. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. So, exactly the same thing you see. You see that like you have a drawing that looks more. Uh, don't care if the drawing doesn't look right. It's not gonna look right. But when you come back to drawing and looking at it, you will see that you are more conscious about all of these decisions that you're taking within every line. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh no, this thing was not okay. You saw me pouring a bunch of water there, but okay. Cartas negras, like storytelling. But what do you mean by like storytelling? Okay, so final exercise. Then we go into some announcements, things like cool stuff, guys, cool things. But first, I want you to tell me if you can, like, if you would be able to draw absolutely anything that you want, what would you draw? Like, I just want to know because I always like to ask that question, and sometimes it's very fun. Like if I would be able to do anything, and I don't need any of the photos, anything like blah blah blah, I would do like the last time I did like a class here for like another school, and like one guy told me you know what, I would do like Goku on a motorbike. I was like. And everyone was like, "Yeah, go on the motorbike." It was no, this is crazy. You're still thinking about motorcycles. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's great. Complex environment, space, medieval things. That's very cool. Very, very cool. Horror stuff, like the Acura baby at the end of the movie. Oh, that's wonderful. That would be wonderful. I would love to draw dragons and great fighters. Crocodile thinking tea while working on a customer's car. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's. When you try to draw when you're thinking uh, about drawing anything, always try to think on not just on something. Try to think of a situation. So, for example, something can be a character, can be a certain effect, can be anything. But always try to think of a situation. Oh, for example, Darren, that image you just showed me, I think for example, you can say like, I want to draw like an immense, science fiction weird baby on top of like a mechanical thing. So let's forget about like things itself and let's try to think on like situations. Cool monsters, mechs and humans, doing human routines. Uh, the cool thing is that whenever you have, whenever you develop the skill to draw with your influence in perspective, you're gonna be able to like to express those ideas in a much more clear way, like as never before. You will see what I'm talking about. But like for example, any spell is full of characters in any perspective. That's a very good goal. That's definitely a very good goal. Multiple figures interacting. Samuel, you got it right. You got it right. That's one of the hardest things to do in drawing. So, give me a second, guys. I will just do like just sketch a little more. You'll see that I always draw like people with guns. It's like what you see around here. I'm just kidding. But for example, let's try very quickly a couple of things that you guys said. For example, let's see. Dragon fighters, great fighters. Let's. I think I really like the crocodile drinking tea thing. We can sketch that very briefly. I think I'm gonna stay on my gonna stay on my idea for the exercise. So this is gonna be Mrs. Nesbit. Let me see what else you're saying, guys. Let's try. Okay, give me a second, guys. I will just add like a couple of more figures so we don't forget about the exercise. And if you want, if you have any question or thing you want to show me, you can put that on the chat. If you want to ask me on audio, just like in a moment, not now, but in a moment, you raise your hand and the admin it's gonna let you comment. Okay, so let's. Well, let's just say it like a car, like they were like washing a cars, working on a customer. Okay, customer's car. So it's like I don't fully understand like what do you mean working on it? I would put the character like washing it or something like. Oh, yeah, a second, guys. I think I need more space. You don't know how much I repent buying such a small tablet. I always say like, oh, I should have bought like the big one. I couldn't, why I didn't? Yeah, I just in the moment I thought that it was just it was cute. I'm gonna be honest. Like I thought that because it was smaller, it was cute. Like that's the real reason. I thought that my passion for miniatures was going to translate good into like having a small pen tablet, and no, not at all. Like wrong, bad idea. Okay, she's like with the. Oh wait, it's just some. It's a mechanic crocodile, and isn't he as in he works in a shop or cars and stuff? Ah, so like he kind of like sell cars, I imagine. Okay, but a mechanic crocodile. Okay, that's wonderful. Let's get like some mechanics into this guy right away. I will draw sexy characters in Gundam until I. Jeez, jeez. How come sexy characters? Oh, come on. Mario, are you recording this? You can make it. You can make it. Ah, yeah, Mihai. Yeah, yeah. I'm recording it. I will. I think I will upload it to like to the YouTube maybe today at the evening or tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I would let you know, guys. Like at the moment uh, when I what when I upload this class. Okay. Oh, so yeah, guys, surprise! This is how I usually draw. I don't do all the time Polish. I enjoy more just discussion. It's already evening for me. Oh no! Where are you from? Where are you from? I think like most of you are from very different places, am I right? Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can make a final guide here. Did your cat walk on the keyboard? No, it didn't. It didn't. But I think it's something he does all the time. Like usually he's like here behind my screen, and he's always looking at me like, "What you're doing? Like, stop looking at this computer thing. Like, come on." If you guys stay, I show you my cat. I show you my cat. That's the bonus. Everyone likes my cats. Let's make so this guy is about to do something very bad to another guy on the top of the car, and he's like, "No, wait, it was not me. I assure you, it was not me." on top of the race car. Let's put myself here again. And maybe we should add, because you said we were working on like cars or something. I don't know. Let's add like some type of like engine, like something around here. Here. Maybe he have like another friend, maybe another like coconut friend, maybe like working on it. Let me see. I love to watch any past VODs or class live streams if you ever decide to sell them. Oh, I will be doing that on Patreon, but give me a second. I will, because all of my drawings, I have all the recordings and stuff, so I will upload them, and I think I will even do like comments on top of them if you want to check that out, guys. Blah, blah, blah. It's really nice to see your schedule after looking at nice polished up schedules such as yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I feel like there's a lot of pressure to make good art effortlessly and quickly, but it's actually a very chaotic process. Yeah, absolutely. Like uh, at some point, you need to know that what you see on social media, like all of it, 100%, I would say it's the same thing, such as if you put on makeup. Absolutely, like it's you on makeup right there. And yeah, look, like I think that's what most artists need to do to call attention, to say like, you know what, like I can do it. Like I have seen people saying like, you know what, like my coffee sketch, and it's a painting they have been working for like weeks, and I have no people who tell me like, no, it's I worked out for a couple of weeks, and then I say, yeah, something I did on my while I was taking breakfast. But no, it's not true. It's not true. People who like actual professional people, I think you will find many here on the server. There's I think you might have seen like Cameron. He's working in Gearbox. He's a wonderful concept artist that it's around here. You got the chance, just like asking him anything. He's wonderful. Mm, the sketch being I work. Yeah, absolutely. It looks really cool. I love you're expanding upon the idea. Oh, thank you, Larissa. Yeah. No, that's it. That's like 99% of memory drawings like this. Like you need to, like, you kind of have like a chain in your brain which is saying like, oh no, you need to be, what? You need to be logical. But for example, like when I say like use like mnemonic techniques to like memorize objects, like complex objects such as like an engine or something, those techniques usually involve a lot of imagination. Like I will give you like a small example of what a mnemonic technique is. But like if you want to remember this phone, for example, like the shape of it, and for example it's blue, and like you say like, hey, it got like one camera, it have like this certain shape. You need that in your mind have this phone in a very particular situation. Like for example, if it's blue, you can put it like, you can imagine this phone in the sea, and like you can imagine the phone drowning, and while it's drowning, like you can imagine like for example a certain shape that this phone got eating the phone, and the monster that it's eating the phone got for example 3 eyes, which is the number of like cameras that this thing got. So like that way, like that's kind of like one of the mnemonic techniques I use. So after I've done that for several times, you do that for anatomy, simplified anatomy. Then on top of that, you do that for foldings. Then you do that for characters, for like acting. You do that for textures. You do that for objects, for engines, for motorbikes, for cars. You repeat kind of like that process, and at some point you discover that your memory, like you don't need to put like you don't need to say like, and I will tell you like this all to all of you guys like right away. You don't have bad memory, not at all. Like and many people always tell me like, no, but like you have that tendency for like for using your memory, and it's like, well, yeah, it might be true that we have tendencies. Like for example, we have a good memory, but it's not also that it's a skill that we need to develop. If you say like, but Mario is like it's absurd, like I cannot see anything, like and I always say like, guys, the most important part of memory is a spatial, is spatial. I don't know how to pronounce that, my goodness. Spatial, something like that. Sorry, my first language is it's not English, so sometimes I struggle to pronounce things. uh, but like what I was saying is for example, the spatial awareness, like the way on how you I know for sure that you guys, you know how to get from your house to, like for example, your working place, your uni, like you know how to get to your friend's house. In your friend's house, you know how to find the bathroom. Oh, thank you, Dara. Thank you for the thank you for the compliment. Always for letting me feel better about my English. But you have memory, like you have a spatial awareness. You know how to get there. You know how to come back. That's memory right there. That's exactly the type of memory I use to memorize everything. So right away, I would say, guys, don't think that you don't have memory. Okay, you have a lot of memory. You just need to develop it. And of course, like when I say develop it, it's like it means a bunch of things. Like it's more like using techniques and like stuff. Uh, so let's add like the second friend right here. Ooh, lovely, lovely work. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, really nice. You're doing very well, my friend. I think it's awesome. It's awesome to see like I hope that like in the future uh we can keep on like hanging out here, like because we all of us we shared like this thing for drawing, which is like it's such a big part of what we do, like what it means to be us. So like no, I just hope that it would be great if we keep on drawing, keep on pushing each other. Like that's the idea. That's the idea always. Okay. So uh enjoying. I'm okay. Now I need to finish this thing, and there we go to good announcements and things. And okay, there's like our friend working on it. Very. Let me let me erase some of this. It's more clear. If you want like this sketch I did during the session, let me know. Okay. I think I will upload it also, maybe. But comparing myself to others, yeah, no, always a bad idea to compare yourself, because you never know. I have I have a bunch of friends that are that are quite talented, or very quite talented people, but for example, there are some other people who lived in a place in which they get a better education. So it's never a good idea to compare yourself. You might have like the same talent, even more, but you don't know it. Like you need to find out, and that's the beauty of drawing. That none of us know like how far we can go. And I think that's lovely. Like that's kind of like kind of like part of the beauty of it. So yeah, we could keep on like let's add finally. Oh, nice, Leo Fontaine. Wow. Leo Fontaine, am I saying it right? Lovely, lovely job, lovely job. Wonderful. I'm adding like the little character our friend did, like the skeleton character. He's also going to be around here selling engines and doing like like stuff because why not? So we're gonna have him right here. Let me clean this up a little bit so you get something, like you get something at the end, something that it's more clear. It's been quite challenging to draw like this. Quite challenging. But it doesn't matter. We did it. We sketch it. Like all of our characters are responding to the perspective we just set. Like most of them. Uh, we have characters acting right here, like attacking each other. We have like this mercenary here on the top, like this number one mercenary. We have like these two guys here interacting. We have like the number four, like the crocodile guy. They're like sitting down, getting some tea. We have another friend around here, like working on an engine. And we have like the shape of like this the character of our friend that he just showed to us. Uh, lovely stuff. So let's see. Working on that sketch while listening. Oh, nice stuff. Nice. Looks wonderful. I love the colors. Love the colors. Very good. Like all of this prop design seems quite interesting. I think there are like a couple of things you could do on like some of those like smaller sketches to make them a little more appealing, but it looks wonderful. Let's see, Darren. Oh, lovely stuff, Darren. Lovely. Very good. I love the shapes. Some of these shapes are lovely. Let me see. I need to expand my visual library because, like you say, things. Yeah, damn, look at this character design. Like yeah, no, love, awesome stuff. Hey, Samuel, let's see. Wow, so cool, Samuel. Also very nice. You guys, all of you guys are killing it. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful. Think about going over to draw how to draw a book. I think at some point, yeah, absolutely. Like maybe a compilations of similar things, such as for example the thing like the PDF I just showed you. Okay, so now, guys, give me a second. I will check in more depth like these sketches. But here I got like a couple of announcements I would like to give you in case of if you're interested. But on October, um, I will have a workshop. I will have a full 8-week workshop. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Brandon's here. I don't know, but like there are already like a couple of guys who have already enrolled on that class. It's going to be fully about perspective. Is like this thing that we just did here, but like much more expanded. Every class is going to get like something similar, such as like the PDFs, additional content, such as other videos explaining certain things that we're gonna do there, and a bunch of very cool exercises. Like I plan to. Here I got like a bunch of like drawings and things which are very different, but are going to be helpful to understand drawing from memory. So we're gonna do like pencil sketches, very polished, very like it almost like painting type of thing. We're gonna do like, yeah, like a bunch of composition, always taking into account perspective. And it's basically, I call it like mastering perspective. It's going to be about like some of these sketches. We're gonna do a bunch of live drawing on those classes. Let me show you guys like yeah, no, just like a crazy amount of live drawing. This is the, no, this is not the, it's a cool drawing, but this is not. Yeah, we're gonna do like weird exercise such as like drawing with pencil, like 3-4 different drawings, then like trying to combine them to see if we did right, like the approach when it comes to like think about perspective. Like it's going to be very cool. Like the workshop, it's going to be very cool. There are already maybe like a couple of people here who have already enrolled, probably. It's here. You can find it on Gumroad. I'm gonna drop the link up in here. Painted. Joseph is very good. It's a wonderful painter. Lovely stuff. Like a bunch of things happening with design, and we're doing like we plan in the future, like in the close future, to open like some sort of like academy, something going on. Like we want to offer some type of like academic proposal to like different people, especially in Korea. I'm not sure if any of you guys are based in Korea. Maybe yes, maybe not. But he's uploading like he just recently, like very recently, he uploaded like some stuff finally, like some tutorials. Most of them are in Korean, but they are both in Korean or in Spanish. Sorry, in Spanish, no, in English. So here I will also leave like the YouTube channel from Joseph, wonderful painter. Always like if you have anything to tell him, just like message him on Instagram. Wonderful painter. So the other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that since I will be joining my workshop on October, it's going from October to November. So it's